Steam curled in lazy spirals from the bowl, the rich scent of broth filling the air. Lumi hovered above, wings fluttering weakly. A long night of mischief had left her exhausted, and the rising heat beneath her was intoxicatingly warm. Just a moment of rest, she thought. Just a tiny pause. Her wings faltered. With a yelp, she tumbled, smacking into the surface of the broth with a plop. The warmth enveloped her, soaking into her tiny frame, but the horror of her predicament overpowered the soothing sensation. A human loomed over the bowl, spoon in hand, his gaze dropping in confusion to the writhing speck in his dinner. Lumi thrashed, her squeaky voice rising in a dramatic wail. "Oh gods, N.O. I refuse to be a mere appetizer." The spoon dipped closer. She shrieked. Ethan paused. "The hell?" Before she could say another word, a shadow overtook her world. Fingers, massive fingers, plucked her up between their pads, squishing her wet body in a humiliatingly undignified grip. She kicked furiously, droplets of broth flying in all directions. "What kind of savage devours a fair maiden without so much as a toast?" she screeched. Ethan squinted at the wriggling creature between his fingers, brow furrowing. "What?" Lumi drew herself up as much as her small form allowed, attempting to look regal despite dripping soup down his knuckles. "If you must consume me, at least grant me the honor of—" He pinched her just slightly, silencing her with a squeak. "You're loud for a bug." "Bug?" Lumi gasped, scandalized. "I am a fairy. A delicate, desirable, utterly irresistible." Ethan turned her upside down. "Huh? Thought you were a mosquito," she spluttered, wings flicking furiously. "How dare you?" Ignoring her outrage, Ethan grabbed an empty glass jar from the counter and unceremoniously dropped her inside. The lid twisted shut with a soft click. Lumi slammed against the glass, fuming. "You fiend? Do you plan to shake me up first? Or perhaps marinate me? You monster?" Ethan crossed his arms, expression flat. "Lady, I was just trying to eat dinner, and now I got some kinda hallucinogenic gremlin yelling at me about getting eaten." He rubbed his temple. "I work 12-hour shifts, I haven't had a date in months, and now I got you calling me a savage." Lumi scoffed, tiny fists on her hips. "I am not a gremlin. You are literally 2 inches tall, naked, and screaming." Lumi gasped and immediately crossed her arms over her chest, even though fairy modesty wasn't exactly a thing. She flared her wings dramatically. "If you aren't planning to devour me, what exactly are your intentions?" Ethan blinked. "I dunno. Trying to figure out if I'm having a psychotic break?" Lumi tapped her chin, considering this. "If I were a hallucination, I'd have much bigger breasts." Ethan coughed. "Okay, what the fuck?" She smirked, sauntering closer to the glass. "What?" "You seem interested." He shut his eyes, exhaling. "I refuse to get hit on by something that could drown in my beer." Lumi huffed. "Your loss." He rubbed his temple, staring at the tiny creature in his jar. "Okay. Let's say I believe you. What the hell are you doing in my soup?" Lumi groaned, throwing herself against the glass dramatically. "A tragic accident. A misstep of fate. And now I am imprisoned by a brute, no doubt to be poked, prodded, licked. No one is licking anything." A smug smile curled at the corner of her lips. "Are you sure?" Ethan groaned. "I need a drink." Lumi tilted her head, wings fluttering. "Oh, if only I had some. I hear alcohol makes fairies more agreeable." He grabbed the jar, holding it at eye level. "You are unbelievably annoying. And yet," she cooed, pressing her hands against the glass, "you still haven't let me go." Ethan sat at the kitchen counter, staring at the jar. Lumi sat inside, legs crossed, wings twitching, exuding the smug energy of someone who knew she was an absolute menace. "So, Ethan said, rubbing his eyes. You're a fairy. A gorgeous fairy, Lumi corrected, stretching with an exaggerated arch. And now you're prisoner. Ethan sighed. Listen, I don't have time for whatever this is. I had a long day, and now I'm talking to a bug in a jar. Lumi scowled. I am not a bug. She kicked the glass. You insult me so casually. Are humans truly this dense? Ethan raised an eyebrow. You were literally swimming in my dinner. And you're lucky I didn't swallow you by accident. Lumi gasped, looking personally offended. Excuse you, I am not some common insect to be gulped down without thought. If a man desires to consume me, he should at least buy me a drink first. Ethan choked on his own spit. Jesus, what? She smirked. Oh, you seem flustered, human. I'm not flustered, Ethan muttered. I'm exhausted, and I still don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do with you. Lumi leaned against the glass. You could start by worshipping me. Maybe serving me. It's only natural, considering I am a divine, celestial being and you are, well, you? Ethan snorted. Yeah, no. Not happening. Lumi pouted. So cruel. Humans are so cruel. You won't eat me, but you also won't serve me? What kind of twisted game are you playing? Ethan tapped the glass. The kind where I figure out if I need therapy or a new drug prescription. Lumi groaned, flopping onto her back. This is unbearable. The tragedy. I, a noble fairy, have been captured by a man with the charisma of a rock. Ethan rolled his eyes. Yeah. Big loss. Look, do you have some kind of fairy house I can drop you off at? A magic portal? A warranty? Lumi sat up. As if I'd tell you. What kind of fool would I be to reveal my sanctuary to a captor? You're really making it hard to be sympathetic here. Sympathy? Lumi flicked her wings dramatically. I don't need your pity. I need wine. Or honey. Or at least a cushion. What kind of barbaric imprisonment is this? Ethan pinched the bridge of his nose. I can't believe I'm arguing with a sentient Tinkerbell about living conditions. Lumi grinned. And yet, here we are. Ethan sighed, looking at the clock. It was too late for this. He needed sleep. A long, deep sleep. Maybe when he woke up, the jar would be empty, and he'd realize this was just some weird hallucination. He stood, carrying the jar to his bedroom. Lumi perked up. Oh, taking me to bed already? Ethan groaned. Shut up. Lumi laughed. Oh, human, you should be so lucky. Ethan set the jar on his nightstand. Good night. Try not to be insufferable while I sleep. Lumi fluttered up to the glass, smirking. Sweet dreams, master. Ethan froze. Do not call me that. Lumi just winked. Morning light streamed through the window, casting a glow over the nightstand. Ethan groaned, rolling over, eyes barely opening. For a moment, he thought he dreamt it all. The tiny, infuriating fairy, the screaming, the jar. Then he heard the sound of tapping. He sighed. You're still here. Lumi pressed her face against the glass. Observant. Maybe there's hope for you yet. Ethan sat up, rubbing his face. I was hoping I don't know, vanish. Like a bad dream. Lumi gasped, clutching her chest. A bad dream? How dare you? I am a fantasy, a delight, an erotic vision. Ethan held up a hand. Nope. We're not doing that this early. Lumi smirked. You're just afraid you'll enjoy it. Ethan grabbed the jar, squinting at her. You seriously wake up like this? Always. Gorgeous and insatiable. Unbelievable. He stood, stretching. Look, if I let you out, you're not allowed to bite me, stab me, or hex me. Lumi tilted her head. I make no promises. Ethan sighed. Fine. Stay in the jar. Wait, wait! I can be good. She banged on the glass. I'll be so good. Just let me breathe, damn you. Ethan opened the lid just a crack. Faster than expected, Lumi shot out like a bullet, wings buzzing, hair wild. Freedom! She cheered. Ethan snatched at the air. Hey! Too late. She was already dodging, weaving, taunting. You fool! You imbecile! You have unleashed a force of pure chaos. Ethan pinched the bridge of his nose. I should have put the lid on tighter. Lumi twirled in the air, stretching. You're lucky I'm in a good mood. I could have turned you into a toad, you know. Can you even do that? She hesitated. Does it matter? Ethan crossed his arms. So that's a no. Lumi huffed. It's a maybe. She landed on his shoulder, her bare feet annoyingly warm. Anyway, I have demands. Ethan groaned. Of course you do. She grinned. Number 1, breakfast. Number 2, a proper outfit. Ethan blinked. You're asking me for clothes? Obviously. I can't be flying around indecent. You didn't seem to care last night. Last night, I was in crisis. Ethan rubbed his temple. All right, tiny queen, what the hell do fairies even wear? She grinned. Something sexy. Ethan turned, walked to the kitchen, and grabbed a paper towel. Here, make a dress or something. Lumi stared. You did not just hand me a napkin. Ethan shrugged. You want a Gucci fairy dress? Take it up with customer service. Lumi rolled her eyes, tearing the napkin into a mockery of an outfit. This is humiliating. Ethan sipped his coffee. Yeah. Welcome to my life. Lumi lounged on Ethan's coffee mug, legs crossed, wings twitching as she sipped a drop of his coffee like it was a fine vintage. You know, she mused, I expected captivity to be way worse. But this? Not bad. Ethan groaned, running a hand through his hair. You're not captive. You're just here. Oh. Lumi grinned. So you want me here? Ethan exhaled. You twist my words on purpose. Obviously. It's fun. She tilted her head. Though, I do wonder, what's your deal, human? My deal? You're alone in this place. No mate. No signs of a lover. Not even a pet. A little suspicious. Ethan sipped his coffee. I like peace and quiet. Lumi snorted. Liar. If you like quiet, you wouldn't be keeping a fairy in your house. Ethan scowled. I didn't choose this. And yet, Lumi tapped her chin. You haven't kicked me out. Ethan stared at her. Are you trying to make this weird? She smirked. Would it work? Ethan rubbed his temple. I don't know why I'm still dealing with you. Because you like me. Lumi fluttered onto his shoulder, wings brushing his neck. Admit it. I make your dull little life entertaining. Ethan muttered. You make my head hurt. Lumi grinned. Same thing. Ethan sighed. You're impossible. And irresistible. Ethan stood, shaking her off. Okay, new plan. You need a job. Lumi blinked. A what? A job. Something to keep you busy. Preferably something not annoying. She gasped, offended. Not annoying? Impossible. My entire existence is charmingly disruptive. Ethan rubbed his face. I need a drink. Lumi perked up. Oh. Yes. Alcohol. Let's get drunk. Ethan stared. You drink? Obviously. She crossed her arms. Do I look like some innocent woodland creature? Ethan narrowed his eyes. I don't trust you drunk. Lumi smirked. I don't trust myself drunk. But that makes it fun. Ethan shook his head. Not happening. Lumi pouted. Killjoy. Ethan exhaled. Fine. You want something to do? Help me clean. Lumi cackled. You want a fairy to do manual labor? Oh, human. You are precious. Ethan crossed his arms. You live here, you help. She fluttered up, eyes gleaming. Live here? Ethan froze. I didn't mean. Lumi gasped dramatically. You're keeping me. I am not. You love me. Oh my God. Lumi twirled midair, arms wide. What a glorious day. Ethan groaned. I hate my life. Lumi landed on his shoulder, whispering, No, you don't. Ethan sighed. No, I really don't.